Welcome to episode 30 of Throwing Your Parents Under the Bus podcast. Full disclosure, folks, my two sons and my husband played hockey. So did my nieces and my nephews, and two of them were goalies. So when I read about today's enrichment and student observation, I thought, well, that makes a lot of sense. I'm Jane Ubel, and today's lesson answers the question, do you know why goaltenders make good drivers? To answer that, we have veteran crash investigator and driver safety expert Mike Peel. How you doing today, Mike?
Doing great. Glad to be here.
Awesome. And of course, our social media guru and keeper of our enrichments, Natasha Johnson, who will start us off by telling us about today's student observation.
Yeah, so in our course, we assign our students to take a road trip with their parents or another licensed driver and observe the actions of others on the road. Try to predict the behavior of other cars in advance and explain how that could affect your safety. Discuss with your parents how to avoid surprises on the road. An observation we received from Allison in Ham Lake says that driving is like goaltending. You always have to be scanning left to right and side to side, and you always have to watch ahead, trying to predict the driver in front of you.
Very good, very good. Well, that could be with a lot of sports, I bet too, Mike, right?
Absolutely. And Allison, you hit it right on the head. And I don't want to give all you goalies out there the thought that you guys get to just jump behind the wheel and you become great drivers. But if we use that analogy that, a goaltender has a lot to look for. I mean, these pucks come very, very fast and they'll hurt, they'll injure, they'll do whatever. And a goalie does have to watch side to side, left to right, right to left, what's coming at them, what is screening them. And when that speedster goes around behind the net, going to come around, they call it a wraparound. So there's a lot that they have to be watching. And if we would all take that analogy into the car and drive that way, that we observe the cars coming at us. Head-ons are our number one killer. And you know what? You can see that head-on that's about to come that way by if a car's hugging or over that center line. You need to predict that before it gets to you, and then you need what action you need as a defensive driver. What are you going to do at that time? And also same thing with when you go through the green lights, red lights. You're looking left to right. And just so you guys all know, we should always look left first because it's the first lane of traffic that hits you. So when you're going through an intersection, you have time to react to the right person quicker than the left person. That's why we've always yielded to the right. We have more people to do that. So also you're looking in that mirror. You need to see what's coming up behind you. And just always remember this. A good defensive driver never puts themselves in a situation they cannot get out of. So let's take that hockey stick, that hockey player a little bit different. You know, when you guys go to put things in the trunk of the car, you're off to practice or a game or whatever. You never put sticks, lacrosse sticks, whatever the sport you play, you never put them in the trunk pointed towards the back seat. You put them horizontal. Because if you ever do get rear-ended and they're pointed at the back seat, they become spears, which go through the seats. So always keep that in mind, that anything that goes in that trunk goes horizontal. And then guess what? You will end up with your own shutout and it'll be a car.
That's good. Well, I remember that tip, Mike, about the horizontal, and I was very happy to use it once I learned about that, because it is very telling, and it's something most, or at least myself, didn't even think of when you would put things in the back of your trunk. So that's great.
In today's world, we need to think someone's out to get us when we get into a car. Someone's out to get you. Unintentionally, they want to change the way we all live every day. Unintentionally. And we have to find that person. Because when we look at all the crashes that happen out there, we can change that crash almost always. Not prevent the crash. And what we're trying to do is change that crash to be a minimal crash based on the injuries and the deaths. So pay attention, man. It's out there. You can see them.
And practice, practice, practice.
Yes.
All right, well, I think that's it for today. And we want to thank you for coming. And our podcast, we'd love to have you share it with other people. And if you do, you can check out our other web episodes by going to drivesaferidesafe.com/podcast, or you can go to our youtube.com/drivesaferidesafe1, which is the number, not the word. And of course, give us a shout out by emailing us insights or incidents you have encountered when driving to drivesaferidesafe@gmail.com. And what we love is we are getting some great stories and feedback from a number of you listeners and watchers. And so we appreciate that very much. And this has been episode 30 of Throwing Your Parents Under the Bus podcast. And we want to remind you to
Drive safe.
Ride safe.
.com. See you next time.